In the late 1960s, a killer terrorized Northern California, and instead of hiding from the police, he wrote to them. He sent letters to newspapers, taunting investigators, bragging about his crimes, and signing every message with a strange symbol, a circle with a cross through it. He gave himself a name that would haunt America for the next 50 years, the Zodiac. He was never caught. He was never identified. And somewhere, one of his coded messages still hasn't been fully solved. Welcome to Mystery Files TV. This is the case of the Zodiac Killer. The story most investigators point to begins on a quiet night in December 1968 when a teenage couple was attacked on a rural road outside Vallejo, California. Both were shot. The young man survived. The young woman did not. Several months later, in July 1969, another couple was attacked at a lakeside picnic area nearby. Again, the attacker shot both victims at close range. This time, the young woman survived, despite serious injuries, and she was able to give police a description of the man who shot them. Weeks after that attack, local newspapers received something unusual, a letter claiming responsibility for both incidents, containing details about the crimes that only the true attacker could have known. The letter included a cipher, a coded message that the writer claimed would reveal his identity if solved. He signed it Zodiac. Over the next few years, the Zodiac sent a series of letters to Bay Area newspapers, each one more unsettling than the last. He described his attacks in disturbing detail, mocked the police for failing to catch him, and sent additional ciphers, claiming they contained clues to his real name. One of these codes was cracked by a schoolteacher and his wife shortly after it was published, revealing a rambling message about the killer's twisted motivations, but no name. Another cipher, sent later, remained unsolved for over 50 years until a team of amateur codebreakers finally cracked it in December 2020, revealing another chilling but ultimately unrevealing message about his victims. The Zodiac claimed responsibility for far more murders than were ever confirmed, and to this day, investigators aren't sure exactly how many attacks were truly his. What is confirmed is chilling enough. At least 5 victims, 2 of whom survived, connected across several separate crime scenes. The case became one of the largest manhunts in California history. Detectives from multiple jurisdictions worked together, comparing handwriting, tracking down leads, and interviewing hundreds of potential suspects. Several names emerged as strong suspects over the decades. One man, investigated extensively by police and later the subject of documentaries and books, matched several physical and behavioral details, though he was never charged, and some of the evidence pointed away from him. Handwriting analysis on the letters was inconclusive, partly because the Zodiac appeared to deliberately disguise his writing style. Fingerprints recovered from some of the letters didn't match any suspect on file. DNA evidence, extracted decades later using techniques that didn't exist in the 1960s, has been tested against several persons of interest, but so far, none have produced a confirmed match. By the mid-1970s, the letters stopped. No further confirmed communications from the Zodiac were ever received, and the case gradually went cold. Part of what makes the Zodiac case so uniquely frustrating for investigators is the killer's own behavior. Unlike most serial offenders, he actively inserted himself into the investigation, feeding tips, taunts, and false information designed to send police in the wrong direction. Evidence handling standards in the late 1960s were also far less rigorous than they are today, meaning physical evidence wasn't always preserved in ways that would hold up to modern forensic analysis. Jurisdictional issues also slowed the case down significantly. Since the attacks span multiple counties, each with its own police department, working somewhat independently in an era before agencies routinely shared information. Today, the case remains officially open in several California counties. Advances in DNA genealogy, the same technique that helped identify other infamous cold case offenders in recent years, have renewed hope among investigators and amateur researchers alike that the Zodiac's identity could still be uncovered. More than 50 years later, the Zodiac Killer remains one of America's most infamous unsolved mysteries, a case built on fear, code, and a killer who wanted to be famous without ever being caught. Do you think modern DNA technology will finally solve this case? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Mystery Files TV for new unsolved mysteries every week, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.